What is going on, everybody? This is Colin with Harness Money Live, and this is my second live stream. I'm very excited to be here, and there is so much going on that I wanted to break down. The biggest story right now that I did not cover yesterday was that the digital yuan, the Chinese government currency, the Chinese currency, is going digital. They have launched a digital version of their currency to 100,000 people. Chinese citizens have received a digital wallet with cash to spend in the economy. They're testing it out right now. And I have no doubt that this will roll out to the rest of the population. Let's see what's going on here. We are all good. And I hope that everybody can hear me. I was having issues with my audio last time. So I hope this is a little bit better. And I want to dig into what this means that the Chinese yuan is going digital. The Fed chair, Powell, says that the US is seriously considering looking into creating its own digital currency. They are not in a rush. They want to get it right. But I think this is going to definitely happen in the future. Now that China has done it, now that I think other countries are looking into it, that the United States will eventually get there to where there is a digital version of the US dollar. But what is very interesting was that the Chinese government, Beijing, has said that they eventually want to make the entire currency digital. I can't imagine there will ever be a day where the US will stop printing money. They've talked about doing this before, getting rid of the penny, that wasn't needed, but that never happened. But I can't imagine a day where they simply stop printing digital money. But, who knows? If China does it and it actually works, then I don't know, maybe the US will consider it. But it is so interesting. I really think this is a game changer for not just China, but pretty much the entire currency system. I mean, there are so many things that this affects for the world. I think this is one of the reasons that China will become a global power, that they will become the largest economy eventually in the world, because the government of China can just do so much. They don't have to answer to a Congress. They don't have, it's a one party system. So they can just decide they're going to do something. They're going to build a road. They're going to build a bridge. They're going to create islands out into the sea. And then they just go and do it. Same with the digital one. I feel like this wasn't even a thought that long ago. And they said, oh, this is the future. This is what we're doing. And we're going for it. That can be good or that can be bad. There can be unforeseen consequences, but I think for the most part, um, this has worked for the Chinese because they have totally embraced capitalism. They have totally embraced the system of supply and demand, that they're just going to dig deeper into the economic proclivity, the economic power of the country, and they're not going to let anything get in their way. I mean, there's so many reasons they're going to be eventually surpass the US. And really, it just comes down to size. So you're going to have 1.5 billion people all using a digital currency. Number one, just the sheer amount of technology that is going to take. You're going to have to create an ecosystem around that that banking system. So if every single person goes digital, that means every single person is going to have either a cell phone or a computer or a laptop in order to log into their money, in order to exchange money between businesses and consumers. So there's going to have to be a lot of infrastructure that is built in the banking system to actually support this. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops. But there are so many different, I would say, um, side effects of this to even consider. The problem with China has always been the big brother, the overarching communist party watching their citizens, controlling the population. So the government will be able to, not only are they currently monitoring their citizens with cameras, you hear that there are, even in the United States, some companies in the United States sell cameras over to China in order to put on locations and then monitor the citizens to see what they're doing. So if they're breaking any laws, breaking any rules, squashing any protests, if anybody might be considering protests or just unrest, monitoring what's going on there. But this is just going to give them another tool in their toolbox to monitor the population and the economy. Imagine having a digital currency and then the Central Bank of China being able to see exactly what is happening in real time in the economy. So if something starts slipping, they could just pump very targetedly money into specific sectors, like the clean energy sector, developing wind technology, developing, I don't know, autonomous vehicles. This will give them direct access to people's bank accounts and to see what is going on in their economy and what might need to be done in order to build it up and to make it better. But also, it's kind of scary that if you can imagine getting a traffic ticket and them being able to immediately seize your bank account. There's really, in the US, you're innocent until proven guilty, but I don't think that really exists in China. So if you're suspected of breaking the law, they could freeze all of your assets immediately before they even know whether or not you are, before you've even been proven that you're guilty or have gone to a trial or anything. They could take money, or they could just write you a ticket. If you break some rule like jaywalking, they could write you $100 ticket and immediately take it out of your bank account because they're watching you via camera and they have access to your bank account. There's just so many ways that the government can watch and just monitor its citizens. It's very interesting to see how that is going to play out over time, because you also have minority groups that live in China. I'm thinking about Tibet. I'm thinking about the Muslims in the northwestern sector of the country. That how are they going to address those people? If those people have to use the digital wallet, then are they going to be punished for their religious views? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but it's definitely fascinating to think about and to actually see happening in real time. I think this will definitely push the United States to be thinking about the future of technology in the banking industry. But let's talk about the foreign impact on trade that is going to happen. So I really feel like another reason that China is doing this, besides just monitoring, is actually trying to compete with the United States on a foreign scale. Right now, the United States, the US dollar is the preferred currency of foreign trade. Something like, what is it? 85% of foreign transactions in the transaction markets are in US dollars, and only 5% are in the Chinese yuan. So they're really trying to increase that amount, to increase that percentage, take market share away from the United States and do it into the Chinese. Because if it's all digital, that means it can be done faster and it can be done cheaper than if it has to go through a traditional bank. If it's going straight through the Chinese central bank, you don't have to go through JP Morgan or Credit Suisse or Deutsche Bank. Those places are, it's more cumbersome. There's more fees. There's more transaction fees. And what was it? There is a system called SWIFT, the SWIFT banking system, that can be monitored to make sure there's no, um, you know, drug money laundering or just nefarious criminal activity that's happening with banking transactions. Well, this will bypass that. They will be able to bypass any monitoring of the transactions internationally. So they will be able to conduct a lot more business privately, which makes it much more difficult for the United States to place sanctions on or on nations that we believe are, I don't know, that aren't behaving properly. But if China is able to send money directly to North Korea or send money directly to Iran or to Russia without the European countries and the United States, the NATO countries, knowing about that, that means the sanctions that we put onto those countries may not be as effective, or the sanctions on actual individuals may not be as effective. That is an interesting thing to think about and to watch and consider with this move, that they may be able to finance things that aren't the best or aren't in the interests of the Western democracy world. with this system. So although I think that the classic diplomacy tactics will become more important than ever. So this means is that our partnerships with the other democracies, so United States, England, France, Italy, Germany, all the Western democracies, places maybe like Canada, Mexico, it's going to become more important. Japan, South Korea, all of our allies are going to have to band together even more tightly and say, okay, this is what our standards are, this is what we won't tolerate, and they will have to work together to, I don't know, produce an outcome from these other countries that we might not consider friendly. So partnerships are going to become even more important. Alliances, allies will become even more important into the future. But um, there is one more thing. So what is my final thought about this whole thing? Why did I go down this rabbit hole? Is because I believe if there was ever a validation of digital currency, so of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin, this is it. That this is the future, that currencies are going digital. We're moving away from paper currency and we're going to this blockchain, this digital security for our currency. So the other thing that I'm hoping is that maybe this will make it, if all of these countries start adopting a digital version of their currency, maybe it could be like Bitcoin, where you could have a wallet on your phone and you could put in different currencies from around the world and you could trade them like you trade equities. It's not the easiest thing to trade foreign currencies right now. So if you buy pounds or you buy rubles or you buy the yuan or the yen or a peso, it's hard to actually keep those in an account and trade them back and forth without paying a lot of fees, without it being cumbersome, without going through a third party. It's not the easiest thing to do. So it's mostly left to institutions. So banking, hedge funds, just different large institutions that have a lot of resources in order to trade in the currency markets and in order to move money back and forth. I hope that this will make it to where the individuals are more easily able to trade these currencies back and forth and actually profit from these different currencies. That's my hope. But it's also my hope that, or my belief that Bitcoin isn't going anywhere and all these cryptocurrencies are going to become more valuable in the future. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, my strategy has always been to have 60% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum and just stick with those two. But I am exploring the KuCoin app. I've talked about that before, but we'll see how that goes where you can trade in different currencies. But those are the two that I am looking at the most right now for appreciation, that are going to appreciate into the future. So that's just something to keep in mind, but keep watching this trend. I think this is going to be in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, this will all be developed. It will all come to fruition. And we are just at the very beginning of this wave. So that's it. That's all I've got for Harness Money Live today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. I've got so much that I want to share with you. And remember, keep making good money choices. Till next time.